Hello everyone, welcome to another amazing day at fmtraining.tv. Today we are continuing our special 10-day basically series with LiveCode, the wonderful, wonderful LiveCode, as they are here to talk to us about using our amazing FileMaker platform with their easily amazing LiveCode platform so we can have Android applications, which is really cool. Only the most requested feature for FileMaker since FMGo was released, quite frankly. A quick reminder before I get into what we're doing today, we stream on three platforms. We stream on Discord, we stream on YouTube, and we also stream on Twitch. Interact with us from all those platforms. If you put a question in any of those chats, I will grab it and forward it. I'm looking at them right now. Onto the team so we can talk to you. It's the idea that we have an interactive community, so we love hearing you guys. It's great. Please do it. Please talk to us. We greatly appreciate it. Real quick before I get into this again, this is going to be our schedule for the rest of this week and also, frankly, part of next week. We're going to scoodle it up here. So, today we are actually going to be working on compiling our LiveCode application and discussing how to prep your development machine, as well as how to connect Android devices, all that wonderful jazz. Day 4 will be more compiling, because compiling is compiling, discussing sync options and differences between testing and deploying. Day 5 is Google Marketplace. Day 6, app maintenance updates, all that jazz. Day 7 will be iOS testing and basically LCFM versus FMGo and the app SDK, basically FiOS. And then day 8 will be on Mac runtime, and then also day 9 will be customer testimonials and the future of LiveCode, and day 10 will be Q&A. So we've got a lot to cover over the next week and a half, basically. But today will be especially fun, I think. So that'll be our live stream schedule for us going forward. Real quick, if you would like to support the channel, we grow. Oh, it's a tiny, tiny page. That's unfortunate. There we go. If you'd like to support the channel, we would greatly appreciate it. We do this for free. So any support, we feel free to buy our live. I can speak English. Only the only language I know. The Complete Learning FileMaker subscription. Basically, it's 100+ hours of video content from Richard in small bite-sized chunks, talking about a whole variety of subjects, pretty much anything on the FileMaker platform that you can think of, from FMGo to Server to Pro and everything in between. So, if you need more in-depth training or you want to support the channel, feel free to do that. We would greatly appreciate it. And you get some really sweet... Well, you get a lot of ability to learn more about the FileMaker platform in the process. Now that we are done with all of the beginning shuffle and announcements, we are here today with Kevin Miller, who is the CEO of LiveCode, and Panos Marikos. I hope I pronounced that correctly. What is it that you do with LiveCode?
I'm a developer, and I'm going to show you how to use the LiveCode for FM tool and what else you need to do to your development machine in order to build native Android apps using the tool.
Okay, that's going to be super awesome. I'm very excited to see that. So now that we've done that, I'm actually kind of content to let you hop right into it, Panos, if you don't mind. So where do we start? So we've just finished setting up the app, and we just briefly discussed installing LCFM and syncing. Mm-hmm. Where do we go from there?
I think the necessary part is to actually download the tool. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Do you want me to share my screen?
Yes, please.
Okay, so as I said, the first step is to download the tool. So for that, you need to log in to the LiveCode for FM portal, which is portal.filemaker.livecode.com. And you're going to use the account details that you got when you actually signed up for this. So after logging in, you're going to see the most recent release, which is currently beta 3. You're going to click here and download the DMG. I have already downloaded on my machine, so I'm going to skip this step. It is installed in my applications folder, so I'm going to open it, agree to there's a new update available, but we're going to skip this for now. I'm going to agree to the licensing terms. And so before we start, there are two options here: the fast start and the regular start. We are going to demonstrate the fast start today. The fast start is a way to allow you to get the app as quick as possible to your device, without needing to do a lot of setup. It uses most of the options are set to a default value, which you can change in the regular start, but we don't need to change them in the fast start. And also, when using the fast start, you don't need to install any additional tools for Android development, in contrast to the regular start. So what else do we need to do? We also need to configure our Android device. We need to do some small tweaks to allow the device to accept the Android standalone that it is built with this tool. So I have downloaded an app in my device to allow me to share the device screen with my laptop screen, and it should be here. Okay, great, it's working. That's a good sign. So I'm going to go to the settings app, and what we need to do is to enable the developer options. Depending on the device and the Android version that runs on the device, the steps that are needed for this might be slightly different, but usually you have to go to the settings app and then navigate to about phone, I think, and then scroll to the bottom. And can you see the build number field? You have to tap on this field. I think you have to tap 4 or 5 or maybe more times.
7 times, I think.
7 times, okay.
I think, yeah.
Okay, you can see the steps here.
Oh, yours is, yes. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I think that on older Android versions, you had to tap 4 or 5 times, but anyway. Okay, so it says you're now a developer. So we have to go back and then go to the system options and then the advanced options. And here you see that that option, developer options, this was not there before. We just enabled it. So if you click here and scroll down, you have to enable USB debugging. This means that you will be able to install apps to this device via USB. So I click OK.
This is such a contrast to those of you that are familiar with iOS, in that you literally just change these options and now your device can accept apps directly from you without having to go through any store or approval process or even a developer account.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And what else do we need? And also there's another setting that we have to tweak. We have to tell our phone to allow installation from unknown sources, because when you download an app from the Android Play Store, it is signed with a certificate that says I am not an unknown developer, so you can safely download my app. When we use the tool to quickly build an app for testing, we don't need to sign it. But if we don't sign it, the device will complain that this application is not signed, so I'm not going to let you install it. And in order to allow you to install apps from unknown sources, there's a setting that we have to tweak. So if I remember correctly, we go to the again to the settings app, and then go to the apps and notifications option, and then go to advanced, and then special app access, and then install unknown apps. And now you see the list of applications which you will allow them to install unknown apps to your device. For example, if if I choose the Gmail app and enable this, allow from this source, it means that if I build an Android app and send it to my email, or if I share it with other clients using Gmail, then they will be able to install the app from Gmail. So depending on how you plan to share the Android apps, you have to tweak these options. Also, I think you should also allow, you should also add the files app to the sources from where you allow installation of unknown apps. And that was it. Now, the next step is actually to connect your Android device with your development machine with a USB cable. And the very first time you do that, you're going to see a dialog in your device that says something like, do you trust this computer, and do you allow installation do you allow installation of apps from this machine? And you have to choose always trust, and then you will not see that dialog again. I have already connected my device to this development machine a lot of times, so I don't get that dialog right now, but you will get it. And what else do we need to do? Also, let's open the tool again. Another setting that we have to tweak in our development machine is we have to go to the accessibility settings and add LiveCode for FM application to the list of applications that are allowed to use the accessibility feature. This is because this tool does opens other apps in your machine. It opens FileMaker and it instructs FileMaker to do stuff, to open files, to close files. So you need to give them the accessibility permission. So you have to go to the system preferences and then security and privacy, and then go to the privacy tab and go to the accessibility. You have to click here and enter your password to be able to do changes. And I have already added LiveCode for FM in the list. If this was not there, I should have clicked here and find the application and add it. Okay. Also, another important thing is to make sure that you have installed English or US keyboard. So if, like me, you have a different language, a different keyboard installed, you also have to make sure that you definitely have either British or US English. And this is because the tool uses some shortcuts that if you have a different keyboard layout, they will not work. So make sure that you have these keyboards installed. And can we start? And also you have to make sure that in FileMaker you have sorry, let me close that. You have to make sure that you have turned on the advanced tools in FileMaker. So if you go to the preferences, you have to make sure that this checkbox is checked because it is needed by the tool. Okay, I can quit FileMaker now. And I think that we're probably ready to start.
Real quick, before you continue forward, I do have a question for you.
Sure.
It's from Twitch. Does the developer option have to be set up for all devices that we want to install the app on?
If you are planning to install the app via USB, yes, you have to, because And the developer options are needed in order to enable USB debugging. But if you just plan to build APKs and share it with your clients do not need to enable developer options. They just need to develop to allow installation from unknown sources.
Or you can sign the app to SmilePass. Is that not correct?
You can sign the app. If you reach the deployment stage and you want to share the app, not for testing but for commercial purposes, you can just sign the app, and then the device will not complain that the app is from an unknown source, because it will be signed with your developer certificate.
Okay, awesome. I think that answered the question. Thank you. And that's the only question we have currently floating around. A quick reminder, people, you can ask questions. I will forward them on. So, now that I'm done interrupting you.
So I think that now we are probably ready to start, at least with the fast start option, which does not require to install any other third-party tools. So we choose fast start. Here you can see there's a field where we can choose the FileMaker solution, which we want to convert it to the Android application. I'm going to choose the FM solution that we created yesterday. Let me remove that. Okay, so this is the solution that we created in yesterday's session, that Miles created, in fact, impressively fast. So we have to make sure that we have set a full access account and a password to this solution. This is already set, and here we enter the admin username and the password, and then we're going to give this project a name. Also, make sure that you choose where you want this project to be saved, because the default directory is documents. I want to save it in a different folder. Okay, so this will be my parent folder, and this will be the name of the project folder. And then I click continue, and you can see a dialog that looks like a notification at the top right of my screen that says that do not touch anything. You will see various windows to open and close. Just don't touch anything. The only thing that you're allowed to touch is maybe you get a dialog that asks you to give permission to the tool to write or to read from particular folders in your machine. In this case, just click yes, I allow. Also, if you forget to configure something correctly, the tool will let you know that something's not right. For example, if I had forgotten to add the LiveCode for FM in the accessibility list, I would get an overlay, a dialog informing me that this is not set up correctly, and it will link me to an online lesson on how to do that. Okay, feature implementation report. Your solution is 98% feature complete. We can save the report that says what is not implemented. In that case, I think, if I remember correctly, in yesterday's session, where William did the quick demonstration, this percentage was 100%. This was because he used not the fast start, he used the regular start option, where in the regular start, you can choose which layouts you want to be included in the Android application. And if I remember correctly, he had not chosen the server layouts. But on the contrary, in the fast start, all the layouts are included. So that's the reason we don't get a 100% percentage.
Oh, that's really interesting, because of course that 2% is never actually going to be used in the client if that's part of the server app.
Yes, exactly. But now the fast start uses the default option, so it included everything. That's why the percentage is lower. When we do the regular start, we are going to have the option to choose only the layouts that we actually need. So this percentage would be higher. So I can continue, or I could have saved the report for future reference. Anyway, I just click continue. And now in this screen, you're going to choose which platform you want to build a standalone for. Let's go for Android. Phone or tablet. I have a phone, so I chose phone. You can choose which particular requirements you need. For example, if the solution uses the camera, like the one that we have, we need to make sure that we enable the camera. This will include the appropriate permissions in the standalone. Camera, microphone, barcode. I don't think the particular solution needs location.
I think we used it. Yeah, I don't think we did.
Okay, so next. In this screen, you can choose the allowed orientations: portrait upside down, landscape, right or left. And if you choose more than one, then you have the option to choose which one you want to be the initial orientation. Let's choose just portrait. And now we are at the final stage where we can actually test the app on our connected Android device. And if you click here, you will see a drop down with all the connected devices to choose from. I have connected only one device, so I know this is my device.
So this is plugged into your computer by USB still?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Is your device supported? So here is we have a list. I think a list with recommended devices. This list, as you can understand, there are the number of different Android devices that are out there is huge. It's not like iOS devices where the number is restricted. So if your device is not in the list, in the recommended list, it does not necessarily mean that the app will not run or that it will perform poorly. A way to check if your device will be supported, you can visit Geekbench and check the score of the device, and if it is more than 300, that's a good sign. I don't remember if my device is in my supported list or not. So let's say that it is unsupported, but we can continue anyway. And now LiveCode for FM is installing the app on my device, and it's going to launch it. And let me share my device. So now you see that the solution that was created yesterday is very quickly converted to a native Android app and installed on your device. And let me play and let me create a new record. I'm not sure if you can see where I tap, but let's give a title. Let's say test image, description, just a test image, and then we can scroll down and add an image. Since we included the camera permission, we get a dialog that it asks us to allow LiveCode for FM to take pictures and record video. and I can choose while using the app, and I can take a picture. If I don't like it, I can take another one, but let's say it's okay. And you can see the picture is placed here. I could also add an audio, or I could scan a barcode. And if I go to back to the list view, you can see that my record is added. In the fast start option, by default, it does not support syncing, but we are going to see that on the regular start in one of the other sessions. So we can go back to the tool, click finish, and that was a quick demonstration. Now you can also, if you click on the deployment options, you see that the tool has already created a deployment profile for you. A deployment profile is just a set of deployment options you have chosen. So you can create multiple profiles and choose the one you want in each case. For example, you can edit an existing one or create a new one. If we want to edit that, we are taken to the advanced settings, where you can choose from some other more advanced options. For example, here you can choose which platforms, which architectures to support, ARM or the Intel ones. If you want to support hardware acceleration and other more advanced Android options.
It's probably just worth noting that if you support x86, then you get better performance if you use the desktop simulator.
Yes, yes.
And that's quite a good way to test if you don't have a device.
We do have a quick question real fast, sorry, from Scott. What is automatic scaling?
These are different options on how you want the app to scale when you are on different screens, or when you switch the orientation. For example, there are different options. I usually go for the first one, the default one, no automatic scaling, but there's also stretch layouts to fill screen, scale layouts down to fill screen, center layout on screen. Well, it depends on the layout of your solution, which one will better suit each situation, but you can experiment.
Android devices come in quite a number of different shapes and sizes, so it is a question of maybe having layouts for a couple of the different, like having a tablet layout and a phone layout, and then maybe considering scaling options for the others.
Yes, exactly. And you can also choose icons, the initial orientation. This part here is for signing. So when your app is tested and it is ready to be deployed, you have to create a signing certificate and put some info here. For fast start, you don't need that. We will see that on a future session, how to do stuff here and what to put. Okay. So this was for Android. Similarly, you can also check. You can also do a quick test on Mac. The fast start supports Android and Mac. If you want to build for iOS, you have to go to the regular start. What else?
This is Miles. I kind of snuck in a while ago. Kevin, what was that comment you made about desktop simulator if you don't have an Android device?
Yeah, so you can install Android Studio, and then you can create a simulator, which is very similar to the iOS simulator that you get with Xcode. There's an Android simulator, and they actually have a variety of different ones that simulate different types of Android device. So you can use the test button and the deploy button to deploy to a simulator. It'll recognize it just in the same way as it would recognize a device that's been plugged in by USB. So it's a great way to get started and test if you don't have an Android device. And the key thing there is just to enable that x86 output, because of course the simulator is running on your desktop, and so you don't want it to have to translate the instructions to ARM, where everything would slow down hugely. So you want to turn those slices on if you're going to be using the simulator, so that you get really good performance in the simulator.
Perfect.
A question from Twitch. Do you need to create a separate app for each device type?
It's up to you. I mean, you could just create one app and play and experiment with the scaling options, and if you're happy with the result, that's fine. But if you don't have much time to experiment, you can just create one app for phones and another app for tablets. And use different layouts in each
just
one.
Layouts, yeah. Usually the same, or quite often it's the same FileMaker file, and you just have different layouts for different screen sizes.
Okay. Automatic scaling. Hello from Greece. Nice work. Boop. Hold on. Sorry.
And Panos, what was that? You mentioned there's a website where you can test if your Android device is like what % compatible. Is that a website, I'm guessing?
It is a link to our lessons. One of our lessons, if I remember correctly, has info about which devices we suggest. I'm wondering if I can make it appear. It remembers. Okay, so
if you want to show the site, it's just geekbench.com. If you go in there to browser,
okay,
and then to if you scroll down a little bit, you're looking for Android on the right, benchmark charts there. Okay, so what we're really interested in, so it has a list here. What we're really interested in is performance on a single core. So there's a couple tabs at the top of this which let you choose between like single core and multi-core. So ignore the multi-core stuff for the moment. You're really just interested in the single core performance. That's what's going to have the biggest impact on this type of app. And we really recommend any device that's got a score over 300. Obviously, if it's a bit higher, it's going to do better. So that's the list basically. Unless it's updated all the time as new devices come out.
Sure. Yeah, that's a helpful. Thanks.
Okay, so can you recap for me again real quick? What are the advantages of using fast start versus what do you call it?
Regular start.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. In the fast start, you can only deploy for Android and Mac. You cannot deploy for iOS, and in fact, you can only test. You cannot deploy. You cannot create a standalone and share it in the fast start. And also in the fast start, most of the options use a default value. For example, you have no option to choose which particular layouts you want to be included in your standalone. It includes all of them by default.
The advantage is that you don't have to install the tools for for Android or iOS. Yeah, I mean that's the main thing. You don't. With regular start to deploy to iOS, you need to install Xcode. You don't have to do very much with Xcode. It just has to kind of be there, but you do have to do that. And you also need to install Android Studio to build actual apps that you're going to assign. Again, you don't really need to do much with Android Studio apart from potentially using it for the simulator. But it's just extra things that you have to install. Panos, are you going to cover installing those things today, or is that on a different day? Android Studio, for example.
Android Studio. I think, what's the time? Do we have time? Yeah, we can probably demonstrate the regular start.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so in order to use regular start and build the app for Android, you need, as Kevin said, to download Android Studio. Android Studio is, I'm just going to show you how to download it, and I have downloaded already because it's a quite big download. I think it's almost 1 giga. Android Studio. Yeah, download Android Studio. You can just download the latest version. Okay, and after you download it, there are some, you also have to download some extra packages. Let's see that. Wait. When you first install Android Studio, you have to open the SDK manager, and the SDK manager allows you to install some additional packages. For LiveCode for FM, we need to make sure that in the first tab that says SDK platforms, we have to make sure that API level 30 is installed. If you download Android Studio just now, I think that the API level 31 will be installed by default because it's the newest one. So in that case, you have to make sure that you install API 30 as well. And the way to install it is just you check here. Here it is already checked, so you will not see any difference. But if I want to install API 28, for example, I click here and then OK. And also in the SDK tools tab, you have to make sure that I think that build tools 31 will work, but if you want to be 100% sure, you have to make sure that you also install the version 30.0.3. We have detailed lessons on that, and even if you miss to install something, as I said, the tool will let you know that, for example, the SDK tools version blah blah is not installed. You will get proper error dialogues that will guide you, will tell you exactly what is missing, so you won't have any difficulties to install all the requirements. So yeah, let's go back to the tool. And in the regular start, the flow is quite similar. You'll probably get some extra screens that are not shown in the fast start because the default options are used. So let's choose a solution, the same solution we chose before, enter the admin username and password, give this project a name, let's call it project 2, continue. Again, you have to make sure that British keyboard or US English keyboard is chosen.
And Panos, is it worth maybe, once it's completed this process, also just touching on the setup for iOS? Are you going to cover that?
Yes. What's the time? Yeah, I think we have plenty of time to discuss iOS setup as well. I mean, for iOS, in fact, I can discuss it right now while the tool is doing stuff.
Sure.
For iOS, you just have to download Xcode. You don't need to do anything in Xcode. You have to make sure it is there. In contrast to installing the iOS SDK for FileMaker, which is the other way to create iOS native apps, This one is way simpler. I'm not very familiar with FileMaker and the iOS SDK, so I did a quick search to see what is needed how to use the iOS SDK to build apps, and the instructions, they seem to be clear, but this text is huge, so you have to be familiar with Xcode. You have to actually open Xcode and use it and create. I see you have to create some layouts. It looks quite difficult. I mean, it's like writing a native iOS app in Swift or in Objective-C. And on the contrary, with the LiveCode for FM tool, you just have to make sure that Xcode is there, and the tool will find it. It will use some command line tools that are bundled within Xcode, and using these tools, it will convert the FileMaker solution to an iOS app. And you can download Xcode from, I think it is developer.
Is it even in the App Store these days? I'm not sure.
In the App Store, you can only find the most recent version, which will be fine if your Mac is running Big Sur, but if your Mac is running Catalina, you have to download the previous Xcode version, which is not in the App Store, and you have to go to to this address, developer.app.com/download/more, and it requires an Apple login with your Apple ID, and then you can give me a moment.
Two-factor authentication comes to bite you again.
Yeah. So you are going to see the list of downloads and search for Xcode 12.4, for example. And you can download it. And the compressed file is 11 gigabytes, so be prepared to
buy a new hard drive.
Yeah.
Don't download at Starbucks.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to the tool. Yeah, so this is a new screen that we get when we choose the regular start, where we can choose exactly which layouts we want to include. For example, here we can include all but the server layouts. So okay, I have added all the other layouts, and then you're going to have the option to choose which tables to include. Let's include them both. These two screens were not present in the fast start because the default option was used. And another important difference is that on fast start, you have no option to sync. And here, the feature coverage is 100% because we did not include the server layouts.
I didn't even realize that we checked only the layouts. Of course, that are included. Of course, that makes sense. Well, that's great.
And in this screen, we can choose if you want the solution to synchronize, and if we want to build the app with the solution's existing data. And
that's quite an important option, deciding whether or not you want your existing data included. For a lot of mobile apps, you don't, because you don't want to have vast amounts of data on the device. But of course, there'll be cases where you do. That'll obviously have an impact on how much syncing that you have to do on startup as well.
Exactly. So let's choose no for now, and next. And as you can see here, there is the iOS option, which was not present before. And And I think the rest of the screens we're getting are the same. So yeah, you choose the platform, you choose the which permissions, which requirements to include, the orientations, the supported orientations, and now in the regular start, you also have the option to distribute the app, which was not here before. So if, for example, suppose that you have already tested on your own device and it works well, and you want to send the app to a friend to test it, in this case, you click in the Share App button. You have to make sure that you enter an app ID, let's say com test. And there are some rules for the app ID. You cannot use any character you want. Also, when you deploy the app, you see that dialog, it says checking license for syncing. So if your license does not include syncing support, you will get an error here, right? A warning, in fact.
We do have a question real quick from CJ. Are there to be limitations when compiling on M1 Max? Example, Android Studio or running the simulator?
That's a good question. I think that it should be fine. And
we have at least one, maybe two M1 Max on the team. So it must be okay. I think we'd heard. Did the latest update? Didn't Beta 3 have a fix for M1 in the plugin that goes into FileMaker?
In the plugin, exactly.
Yeah.
The most recent build had a fix for that. And I'm trying to think if the Android simulator will have a problem on the M1 Max, but I don't think it would. And apart from that, at least this used to be the case. I'm not sure if it is still the case. If an app does not run well on the M1 architecture, you can right-click and go to the how is it called? Get info, I think, and check a checkbox that says run the app under Rosetta. So in that way, it will not run natively on the M1 architecture. It will run under Rosetta, which is something like a layer that will allow legacy applications to run on the M1 Max. Of course, the performance might be a bit worse, but I think it should be fine. Okay, so it looks like the solution has deployed successfully. If I click here, open in Finder, you should see an APK file, which you can share with your friends or with your customers, and they can install it on their own devices.
Just out of interest, Panos, because that's quite a simple app. We had a question the other day about the minimum size. Could you just get info on that and just see? Because I can't remember what the overhead is, what our minimum standalone size is. So, okay, so 36 megs. There's probably a meg or so of actual content from the FileMaker file and that. What does it compress to, just out of interest?
Sorry, what? What did you say?
What does it compress to, just out of interest? What's the minimum size? I'm just thinking if you're sending this to somebody.
The APK is already compressed. I'm not sure if you can.
Oh, is it okay?
But let's see. Well,
okay.
It's roughly the same.
That's roughly the same. So that's the overhead for the app. Not too bad at all in today's world, I wouldn't have thought.
Yeah. Is there anything else that we forgot to cover, Kevin?
Real quick, there's a question from Mayanne in Oz. I had trouble installing the Android SDK on M1.
The Android SDK or the Android Studio?
If the problem is installing the FileMaker plugin into FileMaker, then make sure that you try the latest beta 3, because there was a fix for that. But to my knowledge, Android Studio and the Android SDK do work, because we do have team members using them. So I'm pretty sure they do. But if you can clarify the question, we might be able to shed some more light on it.
Studio using LCFM instructions.
Okay, and so what error dialog did you get?
Panos is a master at this stuff. But we may need you to write in. It may be that you need to just drop us an email. So let's see.
Yeah, if we can't assist you here, then yeah. What is your email for support? Like, who do we call?
Support. If you just drop a line to support@livecode.com, and you can mention that you're on the live stream and you ask the question there. But if we can't sort it out just now.
Just a quick thing you could check is to make sure that you have installed Java 8. So if you go to the system library folder, not the users library, to the system library, and then go to Java virtual machines, you have to make sure that you have installed JDK 1.8.0 _ whatever. We don't care about this part, but this has to be 1.8. And it's a quite old version. And recently we had this discussion if we can make the tool use a more recent Java version. And I think we can, but for now you have to use this version.
Panos, did you cover installing Java? That's pre-installed on Macs, isn't it? Is there something that you have to do to get that?
I think it is pre-installed, but if not, you can either download the Oracle Java or the OpenJDK. So if let's say download JDK 1.8, you are taken to Oracle's website, which I think now it requires to sign up even for free downloads, or maybe I don't remember correctly. So we want to download. Where is the downloads section?
You're on Linux there.
macOS, but that's 17. I want. Where's that? Okay, developer. Anyway, if you Google, if you search, where's that? Release notes. Okay. Maybe I have
Java
to
8
scroll down.
there. It was there. You went past it. Go up just a wee bit further. Java 8.
Java 8. Right.
Yeah.
Cool. So you have to click here, Java 8, and make sure you're on macOS and download this DMG. And click here and you can download it.
Margaret, did we get anything more from the questioner there?
Yes, I did want to add to that. He says he is talking to support, so I assume that you will hear from him there.
Great.
Okay.
Okay, so that is the issue that will be resolved offline somewhere.
I had one quick question. I feel like you guys referenced a couple times some lessons. Do you have some kind of training videos, or is there a help place just that?
Oh yeah, let's show those, Panos. Yeah.
I think it's lcfmlessons.com probably.
I think it's inside the FileMaker.livecode.com site, I think.
Lessons. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, lcfms.livecode.com. Okay, cool. We will link that then to people.
Yes. You can find more info here.
We do have lessons on just about everything. and they are quite visual. We've got screenshots and stuff like that as well. So if you were kind of watching this video and there's something that we went over a bit quickly, if you have a search through here, you should be able to see it step by step.
And we also update the lessons quite regularly. So I think you shouldn't have any issues if you go through the lessons.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. That's good to know. One last question before we wrap it up from Woody DK. Is there a limit to the maximum size of an FMP app that could be used on LiveCode? File size of components, i.e. layout, scripts, fields, etc. A phone app will have limited components, but a desktop version is much bigger.
So at the moment, the limit is that the app is loaded into memory. So there needs to be enough RAM available for your app. Now you're going to need a pretty big app for that to start becoming an issue on today's systems that obviously have 16 gigabytes plus of memory. We are working on a version that doesn't do that, and that pages a lot more stuff to disk. Which is coming reasonably soon, but that's the limit. Basically, there's no actual kind of hard-coded limit into it. You should be able to run anything if your machine's got sufficient power. But that's just one slight architectural limitation, which, as I say, we will address pretty shortly.
Awesome. So basically, if you have the space, feel free to do it, though perhaps maybe not recommended for usability problems.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, the space and the memory, the RAM.
Yeah. So, cool. Awesome, and I think we're good. Thank you very much, you guys. This has been awesome. This has been really cool to see. I'm very excited to see where we're going to go for tomorrow. Thank you so much, Panos and Kevin.
Thank you for hosting, and thanks to everybody who came and watched.
Yep, nope. You guys have a lovely, lovely day. Have a good one. Bye.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Just stepped up the whole way. Calm, cool, collected the quarterback. Great read, good patience. More importantly, great job up front protecting this quarterback to give you a chance. And that's all you can ask for.
Try to rally down 10. 9:25 to go here in the fourth. Short motion by Amendola from the left. Brady takes the shotgun snap. Stands in, throws it left for Amendola. Reaches up and snaps a high throw and lands inside the 10. Rolling to the 9. Ball slightly behind him, but Danny makes the grab.